Hello, hello. Welcome back to our Friday Night Live. I'm here with my phenomenal team, Dr. Phil, Coach Raymond, Lindy, Todd, Rochelle, and Adek. And Rochelle, I'll just meet you real quick so that Benoit can play. Now, before we jump right into the questions, let us know in the live chat and also in the comments down below, where are you? Where are you located today? And also, how are you doing today? We would love to know. So we are going to answer questions, and Todd will just quickly go through how we will take questions today.
Absolutely. So if you guys could put 3 capital Qs in front of each one of your questions, and of course, as always, the super chats will take precedent. They will cut the line. But if you guys could put that in there, we would appreciate it, and we'll answer them into the order. And we promise to get to as many of them as we possibly can.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Nice to see so many of you returning faces. Hi. I don't actually know, what you guys look like, but I'm sure you all are very beautiful and handsome. So thank you for coming back. Let's put up our first question and let's just jump right into it.
All right, here we go.
Thank you, Todd. Nav, welcome back. Thank you so much. 6 months carnivore/lion diet. I still struggle with cravings daily. Usually I get meat aversion and not feeling satiated after eating until I am full. Raymond, you're nodding.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're on the lion diet. Lion diet is extremely satiating. You've been at it for 6 months, struggling with cravings. I can totally see that. I wouldn't be surprised if you were eating 1 or 2 meals.
Mhm.
And what I would say is try to get 3 or 4 meals in just to get the cravings out of the way. That's the way to do it. You could try adding more fat, but I'm sure you've tried that. And the only thing that ends up is making you more meat averse. So the only thing that I can say is try to have more meals throughout the day, and then you'll see those cravings go down.
Yes. Adek, any thoughts on this?
I'm just wondering what kinds of what kinds of meat he's eating. You know, the variety is on the lion diet is usually beef or lamb, and maybe a variety of cooking. How to cook your meats will help as well for the meat aversion. So use your instant pot if you have one, frying pan, air fryer, barbecue. That helped me get through the meat aversion during my lion diet.
Oh, okay. Let me actually ask you, Adek, because you have experience with lion diet. I'd love to know first, why did you do lion diet?
Experiment, because back then you were only eating beef and Raymond was doing ribeye, and I just wanted to try it out. You told me ditch the eggs, just do it, and then I did it. So that's how it started.
Yeah,
definitely good choice.
I definitely got inspired by Raymond because I met him 5 years ago. He was on this crazy ribeye only diet because he learned it from Charlene and Joe Anderson, and they are some of the biggest OGs in the carnivore community. And then I was like, I don't think I can only do ribeye because I need more variety. So I did flank beef short ribs, ribeye, ground beef, just all the different types of beef. And then Adek went ahead and did lion diet because she was curious.
Yes.
I ask this because with lion diet, you're asking for more restriction. And the purpose behind lion diet is usually because you're curious enough to see if restricting a little bit more in the variety of your carnivore foods will bring extra benefits. And for me, I was curious to see if it would bring extra skin healing. So I want to say like 7 to 9 months into my carnivore journey, and skin was the slowest to heal for me. So that's why I cleaned up a little bit more. So I just want to share that with lion diet, no way do you have to do it. Like, you don't even have to consider it if that stresses you out. But if you do need lion diet for healing, play around with the temperature of your meat, because that really helped me. Not just hot, not just melted. Eat it the next day, cold, straight out of the fridge, room temp. That actually brings a lot of variety. Rochelle?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I love this question. I just came off of lion diet a few months ago, and I did it because I thought it would be helpful for resolving some skin issues that were just ongoing and just seemed to be relentless. However, I did not find the healing that I wanted to find on it, but I found healing that I didn't expect on it. And what I found is that it reset my leptin and ghrelin, so my hunger and satiety signals, to the point where I under eating for the first time in my entire life,
Yeah.
and for the first time on carnivore as well. So if you're finding that you're having a meat aversion, it could just be like the suppression that's happening to those hunger and satiety signals as well, because the food is boring. Like when it's boring. It's really boring. And you realize how often you actually eat when you're bored instead of eating when you're hungry, which I think could be contributing to that as well. So for you, like, you know, the gal shared, if it's not for an autoimmune condition, it might be an option if you're able to slowly reintroduce certain things back into your diet, just to give you a little bit more variety and to try and mitigate that aversion.
Great tips. Thank you, Rochelle. For now, we'll keep moving on. And Nav, if you have extra details, feel free to put it in the live chat. We'll circle back. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for the super chat.
We want to thank Sandra for joining. Appreciate
All
you so much.
right. Great.
Sandra.
And then the other thing here is, let's see, I'm going to toggle this off. So the next one actually came through Instagram here. So I'm just going to read it out because it was in the queue. Because we can't put it on the screen, but it's this is Haley Mershiff. What carnivore snacks do you have if you crave anything sweet? Can I have dates? Thank you.
Yum. Okay, snacks, not yum to the dates. Don't eat dates.
Don't do the dates.
I was just thinking of carnivore snacks. Like I was already thinking of pork rind chips dipped in sour cream, melted butter,
or an egg yolk. Oh.
What are your snacks, Adek? Go ahead.
Yeah, if I do pork rinds, I love just putting the bag in just in a 10 egg yolks, and they just soak it all in. It's really good, and there is sweetness in the egg yolk for me. So that's I like seafood as something sweet at the end of a meal too, because it's sweeter. Yeah,
Raw or cooked?
air fried.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, with skin
love
and all, with heads and all. Yeah, nice and crispy.
Thanks, Adek. Let's just go around the table. Rochelle, what's your favorite snack?
Oh, I would say carnivore bars, which is beef pemmican. So that's like dehydrated beef with tallow and either salt or some sort of seasoning. They make a honey barbecue one, and I'm sure Bella's husband can attest to this. It's amazing. Or like a bowl of yogurt with a minced up carnivore bar in it.
Nice.
I really like that. I'm kind of a lady of simple taste that way, but yogurt or homemade ice cream with just cream and egg yolks. If you can handle vanilla, a little vanilla in there is nice too. But I find dairy super sweet, so those would be my go-tos.
And Lindy.
Oh, I guess I'm the odd one out because I don't snack. I just eat my meals. If I snack, it creates bad habits for me, and I don't need that. So sorry, I can't help it. They say the brown butter bites, people say they're really good for a snack. But for me personally, I don't snack. Thank you.
Good for you. Todd.
I don't snack too much either, but I do like the chomps, the meat sticks, or if I'm making something, I like to make carnivore quiche muffins, kind of.
Oh, nice.
So you take I just take like prosciutto, put it in the bottom of a muffin tin, and then I make a egg and meat and cheese mixture, and I usually put some pickled jalapenos in it, and then I bake those, and they're little tiny muffins with a crispy prosciutto-y bacon bottom on them, and those are pretty snacky.
Yeah.
Sure.
Dr. Phil, what are your go-to snacks?
Used to be pork rinds, but I don't eat them anymore. So I'm kind of like Lindy. I if I want a snack, I'll usually eat a ground beef patty.
Exactly.
And Bella, you've got me hooked on cold ground beef patties. I love that cold frosty fat in the, and it's like a very inexpensive pemmican bar. So much cheaper than a carnivore bar, but there's nothing better than a cold hamburger patty.
Agreed. Raymond.
I can't eat snacks because if I eat snacks, like let's say it's jerky, it ends up being a meal. So for me, there's no snacks. Yeah. I'm either hungry or I'm not hungry. That's kind of it.
No, thank you for being honest. Yeah, go ahead, Adek.
Do you still make your egg pudding, Bella?
Oh my gosh, it's been a while. The last time I made egg pudding is when my mom visited in LA a couple weeks back, And I just said, "Oh my gosh, your amazing cooking skills are here. Can I film some videos with you?"
Oh, yeah.
Those videos- I will be posting them, and she will be cooking with me in those videos. So I'm very excited.
Nice.
Yay.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Alright.
Let's keep going. Okay. Hello. Welcome. I'm doing carnivore Monday through Thursday, but back to carbs on the weekends. Is this a sustainable way to keep weight balance? Okay. So very good details that this person shared. Monday through Thursday, carnivore, weekends, carbs, but this person weight balance. Okay. So we should all keep that in mind. What do you guys think? Is this sustainable? Todd, I'll start with you.
Well, I mean, I think it depends on if you have a carb addiction or not. So for me, that would never be sustainable because I would just that would turn into one heck of a long weekend. I can tell you that if I started doing that. So I would say no. But if you if you're not a carb addict, or if you can, or if you can moderate, then I would think that would be fine. I mean, that was generally my idea because I used to be keto and it wasn't working, and I went to carnivore to try some things. And also my thinking in the back of my head was that if I had to have a cheat day, because I was still a carb addict at that time, but if I had to have a cheat day, I could cheat back to keto, right, and have a little bit of change. But then what I found out was when I was carnivore, I didn't need to have cheat days, and I didn't have carb addiction anymore. So I just stayed here for the last 23 months. So I don't know. I think I think it's probably fine, but I think it would be, if she can handle it. But I think strict carnivore would be better in the long run, in my opinion. But
Yeah. No, great thoughts.
So I'm going to give a counter argument to this one. I think this is
Let's do it.
a metabolic disaster waiting to happen. I think it's the most stressful thing you can do to your body. And you might as well be on standard American diet because you're losing all the benefits on your metabolic health by going back and forth. And you're really putting strain on your pancreas, on your organs. And I wouldn't recommend it. If you're not committed to carnivore, don't do carnivore. Maybe consider keto. I'd rather see you do keto 7 days a week than doing carnivore 4 days and standard American diet 3 days a week. I just think you're playing with fire there, and I think nothing good will come from it. But that's my professional opinion.
Just as a medical
So
scientist.
scary now.
Hear that. Well, I have a follow up for you, Dr. Phil. What if the carbs are keto friendly? For example, some berries. Some.
Yeah, I think if someone's doing a
eat?
ketogenic diet tightly and versus, still staying keto, I think that's a whole different situation. But I get this, that's not how the question's written. And if you were going to do something like this, I would be keto, and I would keep my keto down to under 20 grams of carbs on those days. And I would cut it to 1 day a week instead of 3 days a week. I mean, you're basically doing 4 days on, 3 days off. And, this is a really loaded question. And metabolically, I think it creates havoc with your adrenal gland, your pancreas, and your gallbladder. And I just think it's not a good pathway for health. I wouldn't recommend it. So.
But this is also, and N equals 1. This is an experiment that you might need to have to try yourself and see how it happens, because we can't predict, because we don't know how old you are, and if you're a moderator, or if you, this is something that you might have to try out for 2 weeks and see if you can manage, and to see if it is sustainable for you.
That's true.
I think you're just being kind to Deck. Walking off a cliff is still walking off a cliff.
Right.
Yeah, my question would be, what stops you from trying to do it every day of the week? That would be my question. Is it like a fear thing? Is it a preparation thing? Is it, what society tells you? Like, let us know how we can help you with that, because we answer further questions around that.
There's nothing harmful about being on a ketogenic diet. It's so much healthier than most things out there. And you could do a 20-gram carb ketogenic diet a day, 50 gram. I wouldn't go above 50, but some people count 100 or less. Some people count 200 or less. But if you really want to have those berries and carbs in your diet, I would say just do it more consistently. Your body will tune up better with a consistency of the types of food you're eating, and you're just doing maximum stress. It's like being an ER physician. You're in chaos for 24 hours, and you go home and try to relax, and you're not really relaxing because your adrenal gland's gone full boat.
Boy,
So I'm going to take a really tough love stance on this, because
That's
I
why we
want
love
you to
you.
do what's healthy.
Yeah.
So
Well, here's some more details from Crib that I just caught here. I started with full-time carnivore, but I went back to eating some carbs to the weekends due to social and family appearance.
Right.
So very, very
That's a lot of
typical.
stuff
You're
there.
not alone. Yeah.
yeah, and that
I
happens a
guess it
lot.
wasn't-
And choose your carbs carefully.
Yeah.
And
Addicts for
spare-
me.
And you know,
Yeah.
prioritize your protein first. Eat those proteins first as much as you can, and then have that little bites to show the social your friends and family that you are eating something if really need necessary. But I think also the longer you're carnivore, the more confident you are, and you're like, nah, I don't want it because I'm carnivore. It change. Everyone gets that to that point when you're just that.
Yeah, and you can put the carb food on your plate. Just don't eat
That's
it.
right. Don't eat it.
Just play with
And
it.
also pick your carbs carefully. If it has a high glycemic index, like something like mashed potatoes,
Or rice.
those or peas. I mean, those play a lot of havoc. So if you want to eat broccoli or asparagus or maybe avocado, which is a fruit, I mean, these are healthier choices in the carb, and you can maintain it and just tell your family, I'm acquiring a taste for these things, and this is what I want to eat.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're loading yourself up with sugary carbs, it will not give you the benefits of carnivore. It will likely play havoc long term over your adrenal and insulin axes.
Yeah,
I would say
okay, Rachel, go ahead.
Sorry, my favorite carnivore carb is dairy. 100% hands down. If I feel like I need carbs, I'm all about the dairy. I will go and drink a glass of raw milk if I feel like I need a little bit of carbs or something. But it's very, very rare that I feel like I need carbs. But maybe that's where you get your carbs from, is from dairy. That might be a more
great tip.
feasible source.
I want to share a curious experiment for everyone here. Okay, with the social and family appearances, do this. Load up your plate with carbs, with meats, and just like Adek says, play around with the carbs. Don't eat it. But I want you to see if anybody would even notice. And I'll bet you no one will notice.
That's right.
So do that.
Great tip. Yeah. And another tip for anyone who's struggling with this since the holidays are coming. When I was just dating my now husband, Max, and I would go visit his mom. This is a lot of pressure, okay? Because we were seriously dating. I don't want to look like a freak to his mom. I want his mom to love me and have a good impression. So what I did to be as respectful and kind was I brought my own food and I also cooked for her. So that really says a lot. Any appearance that you go to, bring a charcuterie board. Bring your own meat that you cook and also offer it for the guests. Yeah.
Love it.
Let's keep going. Oh, okay. So a follow-up from Nav. Thoughts on fermented dairy like yogurt or kefir? Who here eats yogurt or kefir?
I do yogurt.
Okay.
And I was going to say, you should answer about the kefir, Bella, because you're the
Yeah.
kefir queen.
Right.
Now,
right.
real quick, everybody in the live chat, just help me clarify here, because I get comments every time I say kefir that I'm saying it wrong, but then when I say kefir, that I'm saying it wrong. So why don't you share with me in the live chat how it is supposed to be said? But I drink kefir every day, and it's really helped me and like my personal muscle building goals. And I'm not trying to look super buff or like a bodybuilder at all. My goal is to just feel stronger. And I know that like by working towards weight lifting and using dumbbells or going to the gym whenever I feel like it consistently, then this is really going to help me feel stronger and get healthier. And Kefir has really helped me feel like I can support these workouts. So personally, I have no issues with fermented dairy, especially if it is raw, unpasteurized. Rochelle?
I don't have much experience with kefir, however you say it. I actually haven't found it where I am in Texas, but raw dairy, I have access to raw dairy where I am here in Texas, and I go to town on my dairy. I make my own yogurt. I can make my own sour cream. I've made my own cheese before. I love it. I think the natural probiotics that come in animal milk, the prebiotics, the probiotics, the fat, the vitamins A, D, E, and K, like it's just a nutrient dense food, obviously, because it sustains a life. It gives life to, a calf. When a cow gives birth to a calf, that food, that nutrition needs to go to that little one so that it can develop properly. And so it's a, 3,000 pound animal at the end of the day that it's nourishing, but I just think it's a very complete whole food. And like I said, if it doesn't bother you, definitely enjoy it. I'm a big dairy fan, huge dairy fan.
Yes. Raymond?
I agree with Rochelle there on that. But I do have lactose intolerance, so I should be avoiding dairy. And I did do an experiment with raw milk, and I still have a little bit of reaction. It's not so bad. It's just gassy. It's just not fun to be around when I'm, doing that. So, but otherwise than that, I agree. It's a great way to build. It's a great thing to lean on. This is great to even increase your appetite. So there's a lot of benefits to it if you can handle it properly.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to share a website here, realmilk.com. Okay. I just try to repeat this as much as possible. Go to realmilk.com and you can find raw and pasteurized dairy products, dairy farms, and dairy sources near you. Next. Thank you, Todd. Juliet, thank you so much. 4 easy 2 to 3 ingredient, low work / kid friendly meals. Wow, very specific.
You don't want much, do you?
So I'll give one.
Great.
Chicken wings baked in the oven, naked chicken wings, a little salt on it. Put them in the oven at 400 degrees, turn them at 20 minutes, and leave them another 20 minutes. And then if you want to give a dipping sauce for the kids that they might like, you can do that. But if they just eat them plain, they're pretty good, healthy. And that's only 2 ingredients. Cook them on a rack, use parchment paper, and it'll be easy cleanup.
Great one. Rochelle, how about you?
Oh my gosh, my brain is like, because I am feeding a little carnivore baby. Sorry for the noise in the background. I'm feeding a little carnivore baby, so I make homemade chicken tenders for him, which are just pieces of chicken breasts that I dip in egg and then ground up pork rinds, and then I bake those, and he loves those. He'll dip those in butter mayo, and he loves hot sauce. He's a huge hot sauce fan, so I ate a lot of hot sauce when I was pregnant. I get it. I think scrambled eggs are great. That's 1 ingredient. You can make it 2 if you want to add butter or whatever kind of fat. You could do like a taco beef with like a little bit of cheese and sour cream. That's a lot of fun. You can do a burger patty with an egg. You can do bacon wrapped or bacon baked egg prep. So like Todd was mentioning earlier. You can take your piece of bacon, put it in your muffin tin, crack an egg in there, bake it. I think it's at 350 for about 12 to 14 minutes, depending on how done you like your egg. Kids go bananas for those things, bacon and eggs. Bacon and eggs.
Crispy bacon.
Yeah, just crispy bacon on its own. What else could you do? You could do meatloaf. I just actually started making him little carnivore muffins, and you can make them animal based where you add a little bit of fruit to give it some variety, or you can make them completely carnivore, and they're basically like little mini quiches. So it's like eggs scrambled with some ground beef and a little bit of seasoning and some cheese. And he likes hot sauce, so I put a little hot sauce in there. Like he like goes to town on those. I'm like, all right, carnivore bread. He'll go to town on those. Carnivore flatbread, which is eggs and cottage cheese whipped up in your food processor. That's a great one. I know you only asked for 4, but you're asking a lady who makes recipes every single day. Yeah. Like there are so many different recipes. 888 cake is great. 8 ounces of butter, cream cheese, and 8 eggs. 8, 8, and 8. And you put that in your blender, pour it in a greased pan or a lined pan, bake that up. You can make little mini muffins out of that. The kids go crazy for them. You can make it into pancakes, whatever. There's tons of options.
Bravo. Thank you, Rochelle, for all of the ideas. Yes? Oh. Did you want to say something, Phil? It's hard to keep
I
track.
just want to add a couple more. Make individual little frittatas with egg, aged cheese, shredded, and bacon. And you make them in silicone or muffin tins. And the other is cook a ribeye, slice it really thin, roll it up with paint it with cream cheese, and then roll the slices up. Put a toothpick from it, and it's a cream cheese ribeye steak pinwheel.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And it's a great appetizer for a charcuterie tray.
I like that.
Sounds real good.
Great. Hopefully those are enough ideas. I'll also drop my recipes playlist. All of my recipes I've posted in one place in the live chat.
All right. And David sent us a super chat.
Hi, David.
Thanks, David.
Then
know
followed
David.
Yes.
up with this.
Awesome. Okay. David says, for people over 65 years old, I read that we do not absorb nutrients as well when younger. Oh. Should I eat 3 times a day to get more nutrients absorbed versus OMAD? I think he means as well as when you're younger, right?
Yeah,
Right.
he just says you just don't absorb nutrients, and it's true. I really believe that. But Dr. Phil would know all the ins and outs of that. What do you think?
Well, it depends. I mean, it depends on how metabolically healthy your gut is, right? But a lot of people have unhealthy guts. They've done things to manipulate their stomach acid, their gallbladder function due to chronic poor eating. Low-fat diets in America have destroyed a lot of normal gallbladder function, and that's why we have so many gallstones. And so it's true, but it doesn't need to be true. It's a result of how we eat all our lives, and eating more frequent meals may be helpful, but in most cases, once you heal the gut, you'll find that absorption actually improves. But you have to create an environment that's conducive for the bowel to function more normally. We see a lot of people in the community that have GERD, which is reflux of stomach acid. They have very low stomach acid, so they don't digest protein well. They have gallbladder sludge or stones, or they've had their gallbladder taken out. Their pancreas is inflamed and isn't releasing as much enzymes to digest your food. And some people have amylase deficiencies because their saliva dries up due to autoimmune diseases like Sjogren's syndrome. So we have all these factors that come together, but eating fatty meats, starting slow, maybe some people need to eat 6 meals a day. And usually within 3 to 6 months, people's digestive tract actually gets healthier, and probably 80% of these problems resolve and you get better. But some people do need to supplement with digestive enzymes, such as lipase or proteases. Some need to take additional acid like apple cider vinegar to help. But in most cases, if you just eat smaller meals and stay consistent eating fatty meats, your intestinal tract will improve, your biome will improve, and your digestion will improve. And I saw in there was a question about diverticulosis. So we might as well address this because it's the other end. And Raymond, you're kind of the model for diverticulitis and diverticulosis. So maybe you could address that too. It's
painful. It's not very good. But no, I can definitely tell because I don't get flare-ups hardly ever. I still get the feeling like I know it's there, so it's not like gone away. But obviously, that must mean, well, in my mind, because I didn't get rescanned or anything like that, but in my mind, it must have at least the pockets aren't as deep or however. So, but stuff does still get stuck there every now and then. But again, it just moves right through afterwards. So I don't know what's causing that. It's been a miracle for me though. Just getting away from the pain. That's all I cared about.
Okay. All right.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael. Can I eat lean meat and drink heavy cream for my fat intake? Heavy cream helps me with my sweet tooth, and I have a hard time eating meat fat. Okay. Yeah. Sweet tooth. Go
I
ahead.
just wonder why it has to be lean meat. Oh yeah, okay, right, okay. She's not eating. Okay, sorry, I got it. He doesn't eat like the
He
fatty
doesn't like
meat.
the fat.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he has a hard time eating the meat fat,
Okay.
so he is leaning on the heavy cream for the fat intake. So lean meat plus heavy cream. You know that butter can actually be more effective for both. Yeah. Butter is not only a pure fat, it is much more satiating, and it's probably not going to trigger your sweet tooth like heavy cream usually does. For a lot of carnivores, maybe not for you, but try it out. Yeah, try out butter for sure. Rochelle, any ideas?
Yeah, if you don't like the taste of animal fat, you might want to just use this as a bridging opportunity. While you may be able to tolerate the lean meats and the heavy cream now, I love what Bella is saying about the butter. I think that that's a very good option. You could try ghee. You could also try trimming off the fat and then air frying it and just see if the texture changes enough for you. I'm not sure if you're the type of person who finds bacon too fatty, but you could like slowly introduce it, like, you know, cook your bacon to crisp and then the next time a little less crisp and like cut it up and like use it in something just to kind of get you used to that. You could do chicken skins. You can air fry chicken skins because then they're crispy. They don't taste like fat. And they're also full of collagen and other minerals. Egg yolks.
Egg yolks, yeah.
Yeah, egg yolks would be another great one. If you like egg yolks, you could do like an egg yolk pudding. Bella's got a recipe for that, and it's amazing. Yeah, I'm just thinking like to get that sweet tooth gone, eating enough fat is definitely going to be helpful for that. And I agree with Bella, like keeping the heavy cream in is probably going to keep that sweet tooth alive. You could also try changing the butter, like we talked about browned butter bites earlier. So that's where you cook the butter and it starts to turn brown. It starts to caramelize. And that for some people is like the most amazing dessert ever. So just some options for you to kind of consider, and hopefully that's helpful.
Yes. Okay.
I
Phil?
wonder how many of us avoid heavy cream. It inflames me a lot, and
Right.
I love it, but I pay a
I
price
agree
when
with
I have it. So I see a lot of people in the chat that have osteoarthritis, psoriasis, and I just say usually those folks have to eliminate dairy completely.
Yeah.
And the only dairy I can eat is aged cheese. I anything else I eat
Nice.
just flares up everything.
Yogurt too?
Yeah, I just don't eat it. I can't find one that doesn't have a lot of sugar in it. So.
Oh, right.
All right, yeah.
Alexander. Yeah, go ahead, Adek.
Sorry, just another thing. This is maybe, broken record, but if you want to get rid of your sweet tooth, you might have to have more meals.
More
Like
meals.
regulars.
More
For
meat.
sure. Yeah.
More meat. Yeah.
You might not be eating enough.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I was going to say Alexander Farms for a good yogurt brand in any grocery store. It is pasteurized, not raw, but it is very, very good ingredients and not that much sugar. There's a reason why we are talking about fermented dairy as opposed to like fresh dairy. Heavy cream is not fermented, whereas kefir or yogurt is, and that might be a little bit less problematic when you switch to those. Butter is better than milk because butter is pure fat. Milk has a lot of carbs. So hopefully you have some info to work with now. Keep us posted, Michael. Hopefully that helps.
And heavy cream is also ultra pasteurized, which is problematic.
Okay, good to know.
Unless you can get it raw.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
good luck. Have you found some?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That'd be great.
my raw dairy guy really comes
Oh,
through
you're
for
right there.
me.
Okay. Wow, that's
Right.
awesome. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, if you have an Amish farmer in your neck of the woods, that's a great place to get raw dairy.
Yeah.
But how about sour cream? Isn't that fermented? Or
It
not
is.
anymore? Okay.
Is that fermented? Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Hence
Oh.
sour. Yeah. Nav, thank you again. Reason I asked about fermented dairy is because it is not recommended on carnivore.
Oh.
Really? Okay.
Oh,
So I wanted to know if it's okay for me. I do have IBS. Dr. Chafee said said try it because I have not got relief on carnivore yet. Okay.
Well,
Well,
we actually don't.
I'd say try it too.
We actually don't mind having fermented stuff in our carnivore way of eating.
Right.
I would say all of us here are in support of incorporating fermented dairy. So we
Yeah.
approve. We support it. Do we remember what Nav wants relief from? Is it the meat aversion that he asked?
Yes, meat aversion.
The meat
Okay.
aversion. Well,
Yeah,
that's
that would
definitely
help.
going to give you relief. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to say I had meat aversion for a while, and
So did I.
that you did this YouTube video, Bella, called your 10 favorite top 10 ground beef recipes.
Mm.
And I just went through those. I mean, you did like some kind of shrimp paste in there, and frozen hamburger or cold hamburger, and hamburger with egg in it, kind of egg drop soup type. And I just went through your recipes, and by the time I finished all of those, I did 7 of them, and my meat aversion went away. So
Oh, nice.
ground beef,
Wow.
those recipes cured. I mean, I was really concerned because I had eaten ribeyes for 9 months straight, and I couldn't even put a ribeye in my mouth.
Right.
And
This could be a
And,
good protocol. Like if you have meat aversion, follow Bella's recipes.
There you go. I love
Oh.
that. I love that. What a great
Wow,
idea.
I'm honored.
I still haven't tried your pancakes yet. Who's tried Bella's pancakes?
They're awesome, and my family loves them. So that's our Sunday morning treat. Yeah, we do a family pancakes.
Oh
Oh
my
my God.
goodness, I have to try those.
Highly
I
recommend.
thank you, Lindy. So I get a lot of story tags over on Instagram of people trying out my recipes, and it used to be the most popular story tags that I would get tagged in. It used to be egg pudding, my mama's egg pudding. Now the pancakes have completely beat the egg pudding. I get pancake tags like every other day, and I'm telling you, that stack of pancakes these people make, Japanese souffle, so fluffy, so beautiful.
Yes.
So yeah, they're very, very fluffy. If you guys want to treat a little dessert pancake, yeah, it's a good one. Try it out. Okay, let's keep going.
All right. There we go.
Hi, Marilda. Okay, this is for Dr. Phil. I just spent a few hours listening to your interview with Rochelle. Wow, yay! We
That
need
was
to link
this week.
that. Just came out. Bravo. I took lots of notes. I love how you guys explain things so simply. I now understand metabolic syndrome. Thank you and hugs. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Great work, Rochelle. Good job, Dr.
Michelle,
Phil.
great job
Thanks
putting
for
that out there.
watching. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. We really enjoyed just chatting to each other. We kind of did a Joe Rogan format where we just kind of chatted, and I think it worked out really well.
That's great.
I'm glad to hear it came out well because I haven't watched it yet. So
It's hard to
Yeah.
watch yourself, maybe.
So go support Rochelle's channel. She posts fantastic interviews there. Rochelle, if you don't mind linking it to all of our channels in the live chat. Okay. Hi, Diana. I've lost over 60% of my hair. I tried iodine, but my glands in my neck swelled. I've been carnivore for 19 months with a weight stall of 6 to 7 months. Please help. We'll start with Todd since you do have experience with iodine. Do you know anything about the gland thing?
I don't. Especially not hair related. So my hair actually came back or started growing the most when I started eating a lot. Eating a lot more and priming, and then especially when I did the 2-to-1 fat to protein ratio, that's when my hair started growing back. I didn't notice any difference with the hair when I took the iodine though. But I did notice it when I did Raymond's priming and was eating a whole lot of beef a day for a long time. That was when it really came back.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your thoughts. Let me pass it off to Phil. Dr. Phil, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm trying to connect all this hair loss and swollen glands in the neck, and I'm not necessarily connecting that to the iodine. So I'm not quite understanding what's going on with you. Usually hair loss occurs after some event in your life. If you've been carnivore for 19 months, I guess I'm worried that you've had some event. Do you have a cat? Because a lot of people have cats and they get cat scratch fever, and they think that's a song by Ted Nugent, but it's actually a real condition that causes lymph gland swelling. And it's an infection. And if you do have cats, I would be concerned about that. It's something that's treated with a 14-day course of tetracycline. And if you don't have cats, I would probably see your doctor, because I don't like swollen glands in your neck. They usually indicate something's going on, and I can't think of anything carnivore or iodine related that would cause that. So I'd be thinking about low-grade infections. And I'd also want to know the condition of your scalp. So I wouldn't relate it to the iodine necessarily. Rochelle has a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just a thought, just want to put this out there. Obviously, I greatly and highly respect Phil's opinions about this as a retired MD. Dr. Elizabeth Wright talks a lot about this, that sometimes what can happen when we take iodine is like things can kind of like swell up, and it's because the gland, the thyroid, which desperately needs that iodine, can kind of swell to try and intake more. So some people notice that their body gets, like fibroids get worse. The thyroid gets more sensitive, and it's just because it's waking up, things are coming back online, and the body's just trying to open up the iodine receptor. So it might be detoxing the heavy metals, and you may need to do like, I think she has a protocol for like a salt flush or something like that. Salt loading, I think it's called, which can be helpful to get the iodine into the receptors to get all the heavy metals and halides out of your system that may be blocking those receptors and causing that inflammatory response, if it is related to the iodine. But like Phil said, we don't know. There could be some other things going on, but that might be something for you to look into.
Yeah, and the thyroid is right here at the front of your neck. So she would be talking swelling here. If you're talking swelling in your what's called your cervical lymph nodes under your jaw or here, that wouldn't be from the iodine. But you're absolutely right with the thyroid responsiveness, because you're absolutely right on that. But when I hear glands in the neck, I think more of swelling in the sides of the neck. So, and that wouldn't be related to thyroid.
And the hair thing is just from what I've observed, being carnivore for the last couple of years, hair loss is often related to eating too little protein and what you were doing a couple of months ago. So if you've been chronically under eating protein, that can definitely lead to significant hair fall for a lot of people. So I'm hopeful that that's helpful. You may want to come and check us out in the SBG and try Raymond's priming protocol, because a lot of people see their body turn around and their hair just goes again. Like even Mr. Todd can talk about how his hair is starting to sprout. Maybe Todd wants to share about that a little bit.
Well, it's a little disturbing actually, but yes, my hair is growing back. It's just I've been bald since I was 18 years old, so now I look like one of those Mattel dolls or something that went through a house fire. So little patches are growing back in.
Oh my gosh!
But it is growing, and my eyebrows grew back, and that was from hyperthyroidism, but my eyebrows came back. So, but that happened when I was priming with Raymond. As much as I was cussing him, I was still a little bit hopeful, because as miserable as that was, I was growing my hair back and things were healing. So I definitely recommend SBG priming.
Remember that we had a member who was annoyed that she had the legs on her hair were growing back, so she had to shave.
Oh, we have plenty of those. She was 80 years young. Okay, let me spotlight this. We have members, and I'll share another one. You guys know who I'm going to share, but we have An 80-year-old member, she had to start shaving again for the first time in decades because she started growing hair again on her legs. That's like a sign of hormone healing right there. We have another member. What's her age? I cannot remember exactly.
Right?
62.
62.
62.
And yeah, she thought she was in menopause. She regained her period back. That's incredible. Not necessarily wanted by a lot of women in that age category, but it's just phenomenal. What a great sign, you know? So look at that. I didn't know we can do this little banner thing. So I think that's very cool. I'll just put it up for a couple more seconds. Wait, do you guys see it or is it just me?
Yes, we
Yeah.
know.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the clickable link is also in the description box, guys. If you need actual guidance and community support, Steak and Butter Gang is where it's at. Let's keep going.
Right on. I don't think we've done this one yet. Remind me if we have, but I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah.
No.
Thank you, Beck. Have you experienced an increase in saliva production on carnivore? Only a couple months in, not drooling, but just a bit more saliva. Curious.
That's a great sign of your parotid glands and your healing. And you probably were developing there's an autoimmune condition called Sjogren's syndrome where your tear ducts and your salivary glands dry up. And so people that are heading towards Sjogren's will notice a decrease in saliva. And as you start to reverse inflammatory conditions in your body, it's only natural that your these are called exocrine glands as opposed to endocrine glands. There are things that secrete, like your tear ducts, your saliva glands, and your sweat glands are exocrine glands. And they literally get healthier because you're reducing the inflammation. So not only is that great news, but you may have averted something even worse that was developing. So cool.
Oh, wow.
That's
Todd, did you want to chime in?
I just said I did notice I used to have dry mouth all the time. It was, you know, I live in a dry climate too, but used to have dry mouth all the time and that went away. And I used to have dry eyes all the time and that went away. So
Wow. That's super cool.
Well, you have to tell them about the color too.
Yeah, and it was actually funny. I saw a video and I actually saw a chart about the rods and cones that you're talking about, and I actually saw how that works, and it's like, oh, that's what Phil's talking about. But yeah, when I started taking iodine, I was able to see in color again. I didn't realize that I wasn't seeing really in color. And
That's
yeah,
just beautiful.
yeah,
Your cones, which are your color receptors, are iodine dependent. So your rods, which pick up the intensity of the light. So as you lose, that is mediated through a chemical called rhodopsin that does not have iodine in it. But your cones, which perceive color, does have iodine in it. The chemical that your retina produces for that is called iodopsin, and it has iodine molecule in it. And Todd took iodine and started seeing color. His color vision woke up and got more vivid. So, so if your color vision has gotten dim, that is a pretty significant iodine deficiency. So,
well, and what was amazing, and I want to say two things. One, you don't notice when your color vision's getting dim, but you notice when it comes back in a big way. I can tell you that, because you're like, what is this? I'm seeing in 4K all of a sudden, you know, like crazy. But also, you know how crazy that is? I'm gonna fluff Phil's feathers here a little bit. It's crazy that Phil put those links together, because I've told that to 2 hormone doctors and they go, that makes no sense. And so I thought, well, I might be crazy, but I'm going to tell people what happened, because this happened to me twice. It happened when I took TRT once, and it happened when I took the iodine. And I'm either going a little bit nuts, or there's something going on here. But I said it twice, and both of my doctors went, well, that shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have made a difference. But Phil found the link. So
well, it's the difference between being just a doctor or being a physiologist and a doctor. So,
well, good work.
I have to credit my physiology training to know this level of detail, because that wasn't something I learned in medical school. So I'm not going to hold your doctors accountable for that.
All right. Well, I'm just saying, you're making them look bad, Phil.
Can I put this up? Ryan is here, and he has a very nice message. Who needs AI when you have Dr. Phil?
True statement. Very true
True.
statement.
Oh my goodness. But it's so much easier with AI, Ryan.
AI doesn't make you listen to dad jokes before he gives you your
That's true.
results.
That's right. That's right. And you know, AI is so much more powerful when you have a little bit of baseline knowledge because you know the questions to ask.
Yeah.
So I use AI quite a bit to find things very quickly because I'm old enough. I've forgotten more than I know now. So sometimes I need to stimulate my memory a little bit. And I use Microsoft Copilot on my, what's the browser called now? Used to be Internet Explorer. Edge, Microsoft Edge. And Copilot is always available. There's a little icon at the top. And I pulled a really nice summary off of AI for Todd and sent it to him. And it's a great way to do literature searches really quick, but you still got to have enough baseline information to interpret what they're saying. But it's really a great tool. I would have probably stayed practicing medicine if I had tools like AI.
Amazing.
I actually was a speaker at the first medical AI conference ever.
Wow.
About
Really?
6 years ago. So yeah, I was
Wow.
getting into AI when I retired. So 18, probably the last conference I did a major talk at was the Med AI conference out in San Diego.
Awesome.
Or actually it was LA.
So when
So
are
it's
we
fun
going to
stuff.
nominate Dr. Phil for RFK's Make America?
I actually would prefer to be on Doge. I think cutting
On
out
what?
nonsense on
Right.
Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. That I mean,
Oh.
can you imagine working with Elon and Vivek?
Yeah,
I
Vic,
mean,
that'd be awesome.
those are the two smartest guys. And
Yeah.
Vivek did a talk to a group of lawyers last week where he talked about his company, which was a biomedical company. And what they did was they built a company to buy patents of drugs research from the big pharma companies that had been abandoned. And they paid like a couple $1 million for a $20 million research project for one of the big players. And it was actually a complete write-off. The drug was not developable, but they used the methodology on that failed drug and bought 5 more patents from drug companies and had 5 hits in a row where they made tons of money. And that's how Vivek became a billionaire. It's a fascinating story.
Wow.
And he was telling about the importance of taking risk and not worrying if your first risk fails miserably. Learn from it and move forward. And that's how he went from basically made his name by buying failed biomedical projects from the drug companies. Because he said they have these niches, and when a niche hits, they shift all their research and go with this new niche. Like years ago, it was the statin. So everyone converted everything to statin research. And then it was Alzheimer's research, and everybody was putting money in Alzheimer's. It's like the drug companies chase acorns like squirrels do. So there's a new shiny object over here. So they shift all this money over and they abandon these existing projects. And he bought them up for pennies on a dollar. So anyway, that's what we should do. We should find opportunities to take nutritional companies and reinvent them.
Love that.
That's awesome. Let's see. I want to say one thing real quick. Am I correct in saying we have about another hour left? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, Todd, thanks for that. So Dr. Chafee's coming at 6 p.m. Pacific, so that is in an hour and a half from now.
Okay, so maybe hour and 15 minutes. I just want to give a heads up because when we get down there, I see we're getting a bunch of super chats. I don't want people to put in super chats that we can't answer. So I just.
We've got a full hour, so we're good.
Okay, perfect.
So Todd is saying Dr. Phil put a lid on it.
No,
not at all.
But on that, I don't know if you guys saw this. I put it in the chew earlier today, but so I was going to present this screen real quick. Did you see this, Bella? Oh,
Mm-mm. What is this?
yeah. Sean put this on his Instagram. It says breaking controversial carnivore doctor tapped to lead a newly created department of beef-based excellence, and that's
Is that real?
That's
Is that real?
I think it is
I
real.
saw
because
that. I saw that on his post.
It's in Reuters.
Right. Wow.
If that's real, that's incredible.
Wait
Yeah,
a
that's what I
minute.
was gonna say. If that's
That's
real.
so
That's
cool.
incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, I have
so-
a really funny story about this. So my husband and I, we used to be competitive bodybuilders, and in 2019, we decided to go to the Olympia, Mr. Olympia competition in Las Vegas, and the chef of the White House was there. And I ran up to him and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "You're the chef of the White House." I was like, "Please tell me what is Donald Trump's favorite thing to eat?" And he was like, "A hamburger." And I was like, "Okay, that's my favorite food at the time. Still is. Burger patties are amazing." And I was like, "Well, like, does he like anything else?" And he's like, "No, he just likes hamburgers. But the thing is he likes them well done." And I was like, "What do you mean well done?" And he was like, "Well done." Like, it has to be like almost charred. And I was like, "Oh, that's a bummer."
no.
I was like, "I bet you that
Right.
guy's never had a rare steak, but maybe he has. I don't know." But I just thought it was funny, and I just wanted to share.
Yeah,
that.
well, that's
hilarious.
why you got a job at
Exactly.
McDonald's, right? For the hamburgers.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
That's
thought that was
crazy.
great.
You know what? Actually, Max is hanging out with Sean right now. Can you just tell me what is that company called?
Reuters. Reuters.
It's a news
Okay, let
company.
me just tell him to ask him right now. And then we can confirm. Yay. Okay. Hi, Isabel. Thank you. Started in 2018, lots of salt, lowered intake because water retention. Then I cut salt, but still bloated, took potassium, no help. How much water and salt do you guys have? Okay. I guess we go around the table and just share our different approaches here. Dr. Phil, you start.
Well, first off, I'd want to know a little bit more about water retention because a lot of water retention is actually a condition called lymphedema. And actually, Lindy is kind of our resident lymphedema person. She has a lot to offer on there because most fluid retention is not due to salt intake. It's actually due to lymphatic obstruction or stasis. And we have a lot of strategies in the gang that we share with people. And Lindy's kind of our spokesmodel for that. I only salt my meat right before I cook it, or if I'm going to dry brine it, I salt meat and put it in the refrigerator for 24 to 72 hours on a wire rack, and I don't add any additional salt. So that's kind of my routine. I don't take any supplemental electrolytes. I did for a while, but I started getting more cramps, and so I cut back on Raymond's advice and stopped taking the supplemental electrolytes, and have done better on just a minimal amount of salt.
All right. And before Rochelle hops off, we'll all say goodbye to her. Please share your answer, please, for the
Oh,
salt.
yeah, sure. So I live in a very hot, humid place. So for me, I try to drink to thirst. I have one of these 40-ounce Stanleys, and I drink usually 2 to 3 of them a day. But I'm also breastfeeding, and 80% of breast milk is, I think 80% of breast milk is water. So I also have a lot of water exiting my breasts and my body. As for salt, I like to salt to taste. Sometimes I don't want any salt, and sometimes I want all the salt, and sometimes I need raw unflavored salt electrolytes just to kind of keep me going. It really depends on what I'm doing, my activity level, how much I'm sweating, how much I've exerted myself, what my stress level is that day, because I find that salt can be very helpful for me kind of managing my stress as well. I hope that's helpful.
Beautiful.
And yeah, thanks for having me this evening.
Love you, Rochelle. Please go take a second and follow her. She's also linked down below. Thank you, Rochelle.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.
See you soon. And Lindy, what's your salt intake? How do you go about it?
Yeah, I love my salt. I do have a lot. I just salt to taste. I don't have electrolytes, but there are days where I just don't want any salt, and I'll just have my beef or steak without any salt at all. So I just go by how I feel on the day. I don't find that salt causes more fluid in my body, whereas I think for Todd and Michael it does for them. So they've kind of cut back. So I guess that's just another thing that you need to try out for yourself. And with water, I don't drink a lot. I never have. Just a sip here and there. I could go all day not drink. So yeah, don't know.
Perfect. Adek, how about you?
I forget to salt, so no salt, I guess. I don't miss it anymore. And I drink only after my meal, maybe a cup of hot water, maybe 2. And that's it. I don't drink the whole day either, like Lindy.
Raymond.
Yeah, so I don't salt my steak either, but I do have some salted cheese. My raw yogurt, there's no salt in it; it's just yogurt. So as far as what I drink, I typically sometimes I'll go do a dry fast, which is no water for like a day, but I don't go long for that. But I drink to thirst, but not very much.
And Todd.
Yeah, I mean, I don't salt anymore. It's crazy, but that wasn't a choice. I just stopped craving salt at all. So I don't eat any salt anymore. On the fluid, that really depends on whether I'm fasting or not. When I'm fasting and doing dry fast, I only drink like 30 to maybe 48 ounces of fluid a day. When I'm eating, I drink more like 70 to 80 ounces of fluid a day. Right now, I'm drinking a little bit more than that, though, because I'm having a little bit of a kidney stone marathon this last week. But usually, so I don't know, I'd say usually around 80 ounces on the high end and 30 ounces on the low end if I'm fasting. And that all got better when I started dry fasting. When I started doing dry fasting, just my taste for salt went away and my electrolytes seemed to balance themselves. And I just require less fluid now. So.
Yeah, and I'm currently no salt, but except for when I'm having my dairy products. So usually the salt is in raw cheese that I'm eating. In kefir, there's no added salt. So whenever I am eating cheese, I am ingesting salt. But for meat, eggs, anything else that I'm cooking fresh, I am not adding any salt. And so hopefully you hearing all of our different approaches gives you an idea that it really is different for each carnivore. So for cutting retention, not wanting to be so bloated, you can honestly go both ways. Play around with a little bit more, then play around with a little bit less. Absolutely do not cut cold turkey. That's not safe. So just do baby steps and really monitor. Don't change any other variables because then you will be confused of what is going on and from what. Keep us posted, Isabel. Thank you.
All right.
Hi, Joshua. Welcome and thank you. Struggled with 6 injuries in 18 months. Now consistent with Ketovore for 3 months. Recovering from frozen shoulders. Any tips or just time/physical therapy? Raymond, your thoughts?
Chiropractor. That's my thought. So frozen shoulder. I had a friend that had a frozen shoulder, and actually I was able to massage it and it was gone. So it is a certain spot in the spine. So chiropractor can find that out and they usually deal with that. But what I can say is, yes, I've had real bad issues with my mid back and my neck. So I've actually got a straight neck. That's proven from x-ray, which is not good. It's supposed to be curved. But with, and it used to bother me. But with carnivore and time, just I hardly notice any of the issues I used to have.
I wouldn't recommend carnivore and and priming.
Yeah.
And I love my osteopath. So that's also another
osteopath.
option that you could try.
Talk a little bit about that. So what are you doing with your osteopath?
Mine, he doesn't even want to know what your issues is. He just lies down and he tries to just need, just straighten out the knots, and he goes really under the muscles in the underneath, and it hurts sometimes, but then it's so much relief after that. And he just checks the whole body to see if there's any blockages or anything, and yeah, really helps me. Has helped me with my headaches for sure. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. Dr.
And
Phil,
also
any thoughts?
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I had rotator cuff injury about 6 months ago, and I did not have a tear, and I think even though that was my concern, because I tried adding chin-ups to my routine, and I did weight-assisted chin-ups, and it still really hurt an old rotator cuff injury, but I didn't tear it. And I went to PT for 6 weeks, got some home exercises, and did them every day. So I think whether you go PT, chiropractic, or osteopathic, it doesn't really matter. They're all ways to get the shoulder moving. But the most important thing with frozen shoulders is to avoid them. And you get them when you hold your shoulder without moving because you're in pain. And you get actual adhesions within the capsule of the shoulder joint. And you have to stretch those out and break those. And you have to include some type of manipulation, because you don't tend to do that on your own. So that's why you need one of these manipulative people to help you manipulate it, to break up those that scar tissue and get you moving again. So all three of those routes are very legit.
I had a torn rotator cuff, and my shoulder is pretty screwed up from softball. And I actually just recently started dealing with it a little bit because it started feeling a little better, and I got a little more range of motion from lifting, which I think I probably did what Phil said by lifting and doing overhead presses. I think I made it rotate more, but I also started using these, which I noticed are very handy. I bought these. And these are, but these ones are awesome because they're automatic and they have heaters in them.
Oh, wow.
So they heat and they cup with pressure, and they're not very expensive. You get a set of 8 of them for like $85, and they actually work really well. I've been noticing. I don't know if that's I saw them. Joe Rogan was bragging about them, and so I bought them, and it is helping my shoulder, and my tight back around my neck has been really loosening up with these.
Oh,
Amazing.
wow.
How big a diameter are those?
They're only like that. They're only about 2.5 to 3 inches around. 2.5 to 3 inches. Yeah.
So they're delivering heat right on the muscle and drawing the edema out of the muscle.
Yeah, and it supposedly, I don't know if this is true, but supposedly it's supposed to draw blood to it too.
Yeah,
Really?
the heat increases the blood flow in the suction.
Where'd you get it from?
It's called. Well, no, it's called. Here, I'll put the link in the chat here.
Yes, please.
It's called copy. It's called Stack Social. But here we go. I just put it in. I hope this link goes because it's really long. I don't know if it'll all go in there or not.
Okay, let me try clicking it if it works. Yeah, it works. So we're good. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you, Todd.
Yep. All right. Let's see. That was that one.
Oh, hi, Sherry. Nice to see you here. Thank you. Dr. Phil, do you think oxalate dumping could make my thrombocytopenia bleeding episodes worse, or is it just part of the condition, even on strict carnivore? I'm still eating fresh bone marrow daily. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, sure. I'm glad you are eating the bone marrow. That is really the nutrients you need for your low platelets. And I don't know of any association with oxalates affecting your thrombocytopenia, but when you have oxalate dumping, you might get a little more hemorrhage of the skin when your platelets are low. If you're having oxalate dumping in the skin. So, but it's not going to make the low platelets any worse. So I think that's what you're asking. And I really hope you get healed up.
I know.
Really?
Keep us posted,
Keep me
as
posted.
always.
Yeah.
Thank you, Craig. 56 days carnivore. Congratulations. Down
Wow.
21 pounds. Wow. Chuck
Wow.
steaks are awesome. Pasture raised eggs, fasting every day from 7 p.m. to 9 a.m. Oh, so overnight?
Yes.
That's
Mhm.
good.
That's
Good.
wonderful. Perfect.
Wow. Craig, did you have a question? We'd love to help out or troubleshoot if you did.
This is just
Maybe
a
not.
lovely NSV.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what a great protocol he's using. Chuck states are fairly inexpensive.
They are.
Getting the good pasture raised eggs. He's doing a 14-hour intermittent fast every day. That's such a great example of how to do carnivore on a budget, and you're getting
Yes.
great results. A pound every 2 days is essentially pretty darn good. So you won't get that forever, but that
Doing
is such
great.
a great
Doing
example
great.
for people. Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for sharing, Craig.
That's awesome.
Amazing. Thank you. Oh, for Todd, please talk about kidney stones and how to avoid.
Aw.
Oh my God.
Go for it, Todd.
If I knew how to avoid it, I would be avoiding it right now. I promise you that.
Wow.
So I don't know how to avoid it. If you have a chance to do it, don't, because they're not fun. And I don't know. I mean, they are the most painful thing that I've ever experienced. And I did the third one yesterday, and I don't enjoy them. However, I think it's just happening because I think I'm basically detoxing. I think my kidneys are just dealing with it. I did start having a little bit of an epiphany of what might be happening. I was going to ask Phil if this seems crazy or not, but I sleep on my left side, and I'm down 310 pounds from where I was 23 months ago.
Wow.
There's a lot more pressure on things that I've never felt before. Like I can push around on my abdomen, and I can actually feel like pressure on my organs. I can feel pressure on muscle. And I'm wondering that if possibly being down 300 pounds of weight, I just noticed that all of a sudden when I have different pressure points now that hurt when I'm sleeping, or they get pain on them. Like my hips hurt. I feel pressure on my stomach and my rib cage and stuff when I'm sleeping that I never had before. And I'm almost wondering if I'm putting a little bit of pressure on my kidneys for the first time, moving them around a little bit and causing some stuff to break up or something, because man, right now you're right. They're full of gravel for sure.
Yeah. In fact, the first stone you passed, didn't I tell you it was probably going to be gravel?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah. So the phenomenon here, by the way, I understand all the symptoms you're having by feeling your body different because of the way you're lying.
Definitely.
And that's all signs of your body getting more circulation and more health. It's not the reason for the kidney stones, but interesting theory. Most likely your kidney stones have been there. They're probably calcium oxalate. As your body's getting healthier and you're getting inflammation out, the stones begin to shrink and actually dissolve. And that's the good news. The bad news is they get small enough to pass through your ureter. And these stones are basically specks of sand, and they have to go somewhere. Todd, you want to describe what one of them looks like since you saw one of them?
Yeah, I couldn't even believe it was it, but I mean, it's like it's about the size of a pencil lead, like a tiny little shave off of a number 2 pencil lead is all it is. It feels like it's a white hot ball bearing the size of a golf ball covered in shards of glass dipped in battery acid is what it feels like. But it's not.
Yeah, think of it as an asteroid the size of a grain of sand. So it's very ragged edges, but it's very, very tiny. The ureter is very, very small.
Yeah.
And so you have this intense contraction of the ureter trying to move that stone out. And that's what causes the pain. And you get release of substances called prostaglandins, which cause even more contraction as you're trying to, which may tighten up the ureter and make it harder for the stone. So I told Todd we use a drug called indomethacin or indocin, and we use that to block the prostaglandins. It's kind of related to aspirin. type of drug, and it's works really well for kidney stones to get the ureter relaxed a little. Once it passes from the ureter, which is a connection between the bladder and the kidney, it goes into the bladder and then it passes through your urethra into the outside. But the urethra is about 4 times bigger than the ureter. So if it's made it into the bladder, it's going to pass through the last channel pretty easy. But they're very, very painful. And this is the price we pay for our eating for years and years and years. Lots of oxalates.
That's a fact. It feels like your kidneys and your testicles crawled into your stomach and having a fist fight, and both of them are losing at the same time. And there's something standing on your bladder and kicking you in the back while it's going on.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
it's the craziest thing.
And I always tell people it's God's revenge on guys so that we can sympathize with women in their labor.
For
Do
sure.
women not pass kidney stones? Is it just
No,
less
they
common?
they get kidney stones, but a lot less frequent to see.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
So to answer the question, don't do the standard American diet as your best bet, I guess, to avoid kidney
Too
stones.
late for that.
It's those spinach salads you ate all those years.
I bet, you know what I bet it was? You know what I was thinking about this, because I remember this is like 15 years ago, but I had to pull like 2 36-hour shifts at work. One time we had 2 emergency service calls, and one of them I had to drive across the end of the state. Yeah, I was living off of, at the time they were called these NOS energy drinks. And that was all I lived off of. And the reason why this came to mind is whatever happened to me in that period of time, I got a terrible fever and I got like hallucinating, like my fever is making me hallucinate. When I closed my eyes, it was like I was playing a movie. But I fought through this super high fever. But what happened after that fever and all those energy drinks was I got up and I had cold sores in my mouth from this fever, like fever sores in my mouth. I got up and I was looking in the mirror, and I had made it through all this without going to the hospital, and it was pretty bad fever. And I got up and I was standing in front of the mirror, and my throat started to swell, like you could watch it getting bigger in the mirror, and it got as big as a softball. And I had to go into the emergency room because I didn't know what was going on. I had this huge bulge on my neck. And when I went in there, the ER doctor said, "You have a plugged spit gland." That's what he told me. And he prescribed me. He said it was from the fever. He asked me if I had a fever. He said the fever did something, and it calciumified spit in my spit gland. So your saliva gland wasn't leaking anymore. So he prescribed me lemon drops. He said that was the cure. But I was wondering if it was from all those energy drinks, if they whatever, because they're kind of like a citrus flavor. If it, I don't know if it had and it had all the energy drink calcium crap and stuff that was in them. And I drank, like 20 of them in that week to stay awake because I pulled 2 36-hour shifts. But I was wondering if it was something like that around that time. Made some deposits.
Who knows, Todd? You were so unhealthy. You're just a miracle that you're alive. So
that's a fact. If Carnivore could do it for me, boys and girls.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I'm glad you're here, buddy.
I appreciate it. The odds weren't looking good for a minute.
I hope all our audience realizes how much fun we all have together.
Yeah. Always. I mean, the fact that Todd is here, cracking jokes, smiling, I cannot imagine the pain that you went through.
It was not good. I wouldn't wish it. But I think we should try. They say the CIA has like those heart attack guns. I think they need a kidney stone gun. There would be zero secrets.
Torture you a little bit, right?
There would be no secrets after that.
All right, Alex, thank you so much. One, leg cramps killing me at night. What to do? And the question, my voice gets hoarse. It is hard to talk sometimes. Why and what do I do? 6 months carnivore for Alex. We can do the first one, the leg cramps killing. Go ahead, Todd.
Well, I'll hop in on both of those actually. Well, the leg cramp thing that happens, I think that happens to everybody, but a pro tip is definitely the shake plate. For me, that is the best way to get rid of those leg cramps now. That is like, in the long run, the dry fasting balanced my electrolytes, so I stopped having them all together. But in the short run, if you like when you just can't get the leg cramp to go away and it's in a bad spot, man, that shake plate is a miracle worker for getting rid of leg cramps in just a couple minutes. It's crazy. But the voice thing, I had that really bad, and that went away with that was one of the two signs that led me to believe I needed iodine, was because I kept losing my voice and I kept having a hoarse voice, and the iodine cured the hoarse voice thing.
Very cool. Oh, can you link your shake plate?
Yeah.
Thank you. Raymond, did you want to chime in on this?
Yeah. So I actually recommended one of my clients. She tried everything: a magnesium, the bath, all of it. Yeah, egg yolk. She tried all of it. And the one thing that worked was quinine. So it's just a normal supplement that they use for leg cramps. So that's your last desperate measure, a little bit of that. But the weird thing is that it didn't last. Once it went away, she said she didn't have to worry about doing it again. So yeah.
And I'm still with the mouth taping. That helped me so much. Yeah. Breathing through your nose.
With the leg cramps?
Yes. With the leg cramps. Your microphone, Bella, is not working very well. We already got feedback on that one.
Okay. Is it better now if I'm closer or no?
It might be your internet.
Internet. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's probably my internet. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Hopefully that helps. Then let's keep going, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if I'm too choppy, somebody else take over and read the questions. I don't want to mess up the Q&A. Is it choppy or no?
Yeah, it's still choppy again.
So
okay,
Phil,
Lindy, you read.
I've got it. Phil,
Yeah.
can losing
Great.
big weight cause lower back pain due to reduced stability? I've had occasional sharp jolts, spine realignment. Actually, I don't think I'm the best person to answer this. Raymond, how would you answer this?
I think I can kind of comment on this because so my back hurt. God, so many things went on when I was losing weight, but I don't even think it's just the fat around the spine. I think that there's something that happens. My posture was so bad, and my hips were out of alignment. My toes pointed out. My back curvature, my spine was all screwed up. And the craziest thing happened, even when I got the first 150 pounds off me, everything straightened up. It was really weird. But my posture, I don't know if it was from getting stronger. I don't know if it was from getting rid of inflammation and swelling. But that was a very sore process. That was 6 to 8 months of sore back and not sleeping well and weird pressure points and stuff. And at the end, I'm about 1.25 inches taller than I was when this happened, and everything squared up. And now I walk so much different, which I know that I would just from losing the weight, but I'm telling you, it's more than that. It's my skeletal structure is squarer, if that makes sense. My toes point straight forward where they used to point out to the side before. My hips were kind of rotated out before. And the curvature of my spine is way flatter. And that happened. I tried to tell somebody that I told to get the same bed that I had that might happen because it was really painful. I thought my mattress was hurting my back, but it was actually just everything straightening out was not very comfortable. But now it's great, and it's totally different. I think it's just, I've had this conversation with several people, and several people have experienced this, that their frame is just like straightening up, and it's just, they start to walk proper,
Yeah, and I want to be clear that losing weight doesn't affect the stability of your spine. And I think Todd gave a really good testimonial of why you could have more pain due to the mechanics of your back changing. But it's not related to anything that's going to make your spine unstable. Your spine is bone connected by ligaments and the small strap muscles. And that's only going to get healthier, as Todd described. But as your body's recompositing, you may notice some structural changes, which can cause aches and pains, some bursal swellings. I like everything you said, Todd. So I thought you did a good job with this. But I want to reassure MM that your spine's not going to become like a wet noodle. It will maintain its stability and get stronger.
No, and it definitely, I feel like I actually have no pain now, where I always had stiff muscles and stiff back, and the way I'd walk would cause, I mean, obviously a lot of it was the weight too, but the way I'd walk would just cause so much pain in my hips and knees and stuff, because I wasn't centered over my own weight, because everything wasn't square. And now it is. It's really quite amazing. To me, that was actually one of the big miracles that happened through all this. I was like, wow, that's really different.
Yeah, well, your center of gravity is going to change as you lose weight and have body composition. So it's only natural that you may have to do some toning or some strengthening exercise, especially low back. So, but you shouldn't worry about being unstable.
For sure.
So, next question.
Can you guys hear me better or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Braun says time to watch the
the
fiasco.
fight. I know.
Don't lose a lot of people.
No spoiler alerts or whatever you call it. Spoilers.
Yeah, and I found, Bella, that if you close down extra apps on your device,
thank you for that.
you'll get.
Let me try that.
I can't even pull up an Internet Edge. If I do, I hear hear all of you going choppy. So StreamYard takes a lot of bandwidth.
Thank you for the tip.
Okay. I love what Carnivore is doing for my body, but I don't love what it does for the smell in my apartment. How do you prevent this?
Oh, that's such a great question. Yeah.
I have my air fryer outside.
That's literally what I do too. My air fryer is right outside. I only cook outside now.
Don't cook inside.
Cool.
Yep.
Oh, I invested in a smoker, which is outside, but I opened the windows because I love the smell. So.
Oh, right.
That's funny.
I think it's a good trade-off for less flatulence.
I like it. That's right.
That's great. Cooking outside, though, that's brilliant.
For sure.
Yeah.
Unless it rains.
Yeah.
For sure.
Todd, you got another question for us?
Yep, here we come. That was the last super chat going up here now.
Okay, I can read it. Would or could diverticulosis start while eating carnivore, Raymond?
Well, mine started long ago before carnivore. So now, can it aggravate it initially? Yes, mine was aggravated at first as my body was getting used to it. But even then, the pain was less, but it did happen more often early on. And then later on, it just started kind of slowly fading out. But that's my experience.
Have you worked with any clients or seen any members who've had diverticulosis start while eating carnivore?
I have, actually. There's this one lady that seemed to start it beforehand, but I really think that she had it. She even suspected that she's had it before, and she doesn't really attribute it to carnivore, but it's still. I don't think it does, but Dr. Phil, he's the person to answer that.
Well, I think we have to look at the heavy anecdotal information that we see in the carnivore community at large, not just in SPG, but when you watch all the influencers and interview a lot of people with inflammatory bowel disease, which is Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. That's the definition of the inflammatory bowel diseases. Diverticulosis, and they all get better when it's just kind of rule of thumb. They go into remission and reverse and sometimes heal completely when they go carnivore. So diverticulosis is a breakdown of the wall of the large intestine, which causes pouches to form in the intestine. And even though it's not inflammatory, it's a defect in the normal tissue of your bowel. And then when it gets inflamed, or infected, it's called diverticulitis. When those little pouches get plugged and literally cause an infection or inflammation. So theoretically, I would think years ago, we used to say diverticulosis is due to lack of fiber in the diet. And we really have found that the fiber theory was more anecdotal than anything. And fiber is better than just a standard American diet. But we just don't see very much new onset of any of these colon diseases in the carnivore community. So I think I've not seen any peer-reviewed studies. I don't think there's any clear evidence, but intuitively, I would think we would see less diverticulosis in the carnivore community just because our tissues get so much healthier, and it requires a breakdown of your tissue to get it in the first place. So that would be my thought. But interesting thing, it should be studied. Love to follow out 1,000 people and see the answer of that. But no one's going to do that study because there's no money in it.
No money. Yeah.
Mhm. Let's see. Before I go to the next question, did Sean answer back? Was that his real?
Oh,
writers?
yeah. Thank you for that. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Let me see what Max says.
I need to know
okay.
if I'm spreading fake news or not.
I hope
So
it's
he
real.
says, this is what Max texted me. Yeah, he told me last time he knows JD Vance and he knows Trump.
Oh, that little thing.
That's all.
So he
that's all
he
said.
didn't confirm that he's in the cabinet or.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if he's able to ask him directly. Maybe he's not at his house right now, but I thought he was. Anyways,
All right.
Next
no
time.
worries.
Charmaine, hello. Advice on gaining weight on carnivore. I am already eating 3 times a day. Okay. We've had this question actually a couple times on our lives, but let's just quickly summarize, Adek and I, on how best to gain weight on carnivore. I would say utilize the dairy, eat a lot of cheese, raw cheese. I see a lot of people who want to gain healthy weight even utilize heavy cream. Some people even use milk, especially those who want to do more bodybuilding type routes. They actually utilize milk a lot in that community. Raw milk is obviously best. Adek, any ideas?
No, that, and yeah, if you can add more meals to your day, that'd be good. And you focus on high fat, all of it, butter, fatty meats, and that kind of stuff. That will make the help. And it takes time because your body is actually going to go to the ideal weight. It's just as a long road as weight loss or fat loss. Gaining weight is also very hard. So take your time and be patient with that.
Perfect. Let's keep going. Susie, does anyone get their cholesterol checked? I had a heart attack 2019, right side 100% blocked, 2 stents, left side 65% blocked. Cardiologist did nothing. Insurance needs it to be 75% to cover surgery/stents. Dr. Phil, if you don't mind.
I think we need to tell them how soon is that video coming out, because we just did an interview yesterday where I talk about how to tackle regression of blockages in your arteries, and carnivore is a great way to do that. taking a 65% lesion, you want to do 3 things. One, you want to be on an anti-inflammatory diet, check carnivore. You want to be walking 7,000 steps a day, and you want to watch our video that is coming up. That's going to be released.
Coming out soon.
This is a case where a statin might be indicated for you, depending on where your cholesterol numbers are. If your HDL is 80 or more, you probably don't need it. But in this new video interview I did, I talked about what's called the pleiotropic effects of statins, which have nothing to do with their cholesterol lowering, but have a lot to do with plaque regression. And I give the evidence and discuss a huge peer-reviewed article that took 76 studies and looked at all the data, and it's all going to be available for you with an attachment where you can look at summary of all 76 studies and make a quick judgment for yourself what you want to do. But I explain how all this works out and give you some information so you can discuss with your doctor.
Fantastic. Yeah, video will be out. You guys will all be notified as long as you subscribe, turn on bell and notifications. And it's right below this live stream. You can do that. A couple more questions and then we will wrap up for tonight. We do have Dr. Chafee coming into the Steak and Butter Gang, and I do want everyone to take a break and eat something. Okay, Tabitha. I did carnivore and ate carbs and started getting panic attacks and anxiety to a point where I could not even function. So,
Wow.
so she did carnivore and then when she ate the carbs, then the panic attacks came on strong. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's scary.
So with carnivore, that's the thing. So it once you go, I want to try to say it without scaring anybody. Once you go carnivore, it almost reduces all the noise in your body eventually, and when you add in even the slightest, it hears it loud and clear. So any pain, I mean, your pain was screaming beforehand, except there was so much noise everywhere that what's another one, right? But now everything quieted down, so everything sounds extremely loud. So yeah, I definitely can see that. And your panic attack. So mine is not panic attacks that I get after I eat. When I've tried it back in the past, and I've had some, like one carb meal. What happens is that all my bones would ache like I'm an old person, and then I would have to. I could barely get off the couch. So and it would last 5 days. So you'll notice that if you get right back on it, that it's going to take some time, probably like maybe for you 5 days also, just like me. And then once it clears out, you're good until you touch another carb.
Wow. Look at this comment. Do you think this is true, Raymond? Once you go carnivore, you can't go back?
See, that kind of comment is actually very scary because a lot of, you can imagine, right? It's like, oh my God, you mean I can never have
like a threat
XYZ anymore? Right. It's almost like a threat, right? So I don't want to scare people off, but when you feel that good, it's tough to go back. And I know I've known some people that does it regardless. I knew one that she was dying, and she went and she felt, and I mean like she had everything ache, everything, and she went to carnivore. It stopped aching. She still had little problems here and there because she couldn't get rid of her diet soda. And then she's like, screw this, I'm going back, because if I'm going to die, I'm going to die happy.
Oh wow.
And she was willing to go through that pain, which I'm like, how happy are you with all that pain?
Yeah,
So
I think
that's the problem.
I think misunderstood what happy is, but sounds like carnivore is the mafia. Once you're sworn in, there's no only one way out.
You'll get tortured.
Okay.
You'll get tortured.
So let me answer this from a physiologic standpoint.
Yes.
You can always go back to any diet that you want. But when you eliminate lots of things from your body that's putting havoc on your body and you reintroduce them, don't be surprised if you feel what a impact they are. And I always tell the story of my 95-year-old dad that I put on carnivore for elimination diet last year. He had polymyalgia rheumatica, which is an autoimmune disease called PMR. And he had been on prednisone for 30 years.
Wow.
So he's 95 now. And he went on carnivore, and he didn't want to be a carnivore. I just wanted to use it therapeutically because most PMR burns out after a few years and you don't have to take prednisone. But as you know, long-term dose of prednisone every day for 30 years causes thinning of your bone, causes obesity, causes all these weaknesses of the muscles, atrophy of the muscle. So he was having ill effect from the low dose prednisone he was having. So he was seeing the results I got from carnivore, and I got him to go very, very strict carnivore for 60 days. He felt great on it. And then we began introducing one new food a week. And the first week he ate green beans, felt great. Second week he ate his favorite food, which was onions. And he used to eat an onion every day, Vidalia onion. His favorite way of eating it was take a whole Vidalia onion, skin it, cut out the core, and then put a bouillon cube in it and do it in the microwave for 7 minutes. And he'd have this sauteed Vidalia onion, which he would slice. Anyway, when he went back on onion after not having any onion for 3 months, his PMR, which causes, I call it the 10 Woodsman syndrome, because like the Wizard of Oz woodsman, you basically get stiff in your shoulders and your neck, and you kind of freeze up and you have this incredible pain. Within about 2 hours of eating onion, he had full-blown symptoms come back. So I had to put him on a big dose of steroid for a week, get him calmed down, and then we stopped the onion, which he hasn't had now for almost a year. And anyway, I was able to get him off the prednisone. He's been off prednisone for a year now. I mean, he's in great shape. I was just talking to him today. And I said, has your PMR come back? He says, no, I haven't had any symptoms for about 9 months.
At 95.
And, yeah. So the question I have is, when you have something that you've eliminated that you eat, it may be a particular food that is triggering you, and you don't know it unless you reintroduce one food at a time. And I would encourage anyone who goes to the work of being carnivore, don't just go back to eating what you ate. If you really are curious, test one food and one food only for a week. See how you do.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you why you had a panic attack or what it was, but it probably was a food that you're highly sensitive to. And it's really good to know through elimination a food that's that problematic. And it was amazing that he went to his rheumatologist, and I went with him to make sure he would give him as needed prednisone refills. So if he had a flare up, because he likes to drive and travel, he goes on cruises every year, and he does these 6-week trips in his RV, and he's on the road a lot at 95. And if he has a flare up, we give him like 5 days of steroids, and it calms it down. But he hadn't had any for 8 months. But I went to the rheumatologist saying, he's totally off his prednisone. What do you think about this? And the guy said, oh, I don't think prednisone's that bad. At your age, you should eat anything you want. And it's
My God. Oh my God.
I am so thankful that he retired. The rheumatologist retired, and because my dad did not want to feel that bad again.
Right.
And he's lost, I think it's 68 pounds. He went from 270 to he's 186 now.
Oh.
So whatever. I mean, that's 80 some pounds.
It's amazing.
And he feels so much better. He's so much more mobile. His bones are getting stronger. And it's just, But I'm so thankful that I see carnivore as an elimination diet. And I think the person asked the question about the panic attack or anything, you have to, if you're going to do the work to do carnivore, do the work to reintroduce foods one at a time and try to find out if there's a trigger food that is just not worth it. Because, and it's not that you can never go back from carnivore, it's just leverage it and find out if there's a specific foods that are just not good for your body and your metabolism, because the foods will tell you. And who knows what it is? It may not be the food. It may be glycosates like Roundup and things like that in the food. I mean, it could be anything, but obviously something triggered you. And I'd love to know what it was, Tabitha, but I would be curious. So I would go back carnivore and then try to reproduce what you ate that day, but take one ingredient a day for 7 days before you try the second ingredient and see how you do. Because I'd love you to pinpoint what, is there one food that you can avoid that will stop you having panic attacks? That would be worth a mint in my book.
There it is. It's called a steak. That works too.
Well, great tips. So keep us posted, Tabitha. I wanted to ask everyone in this live stream a question. So after going carnivore, because we talked a little bit about what does it mean to be happy, after going carnivore, do you feel like your happiness and your joy was sucked away from you because you don't get to eat certain foods anymore? Yes or no? And this is for everyone in the live stream right now and also watching the playback. Put your answer in the live chat or in the comment section. I'd be curious to know what your thoughts are on this. And
that's a great question, Bella, by the way. Great question.
Well, what's your answer, Raymond?
Well, I mean, I've never been happier. I was miserable before. But here's the thing, right? I didn't realize how miserable I was because that was my standard. When I went to carnivore, I'm like, wow, this really exists, It's like, so, I mean, I never realized how bad off I was.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I'm wondering, your question is about the food that you're missing. That's the happiness, or like how you feel happy, if you're feeling happy.
Well, I guess happiness is different for everyone. What the definition is or what it feels like to each person might be different, because I just asked that question after hearing Raymond's client story, because I was honestly quite shocked,
Okay.
Your client who said she feels she'd rather die happy drinking Pepsi and Coke and eating carbs.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
was sad by that too.
Yeah, to me, if that's the case, then your addiction's making you.
Yeah.
You enjoy being high, basically. Like what I found out is when I got on carnivore, I'm way happier on carnivore because my health is making me happier, and I no longer. I think it's a problem if your food makes you happy, like happy with a feeling, and not happy with health. I think that's a problem.
That's a good one.
Absolutely. Good point. Phil, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, I don't have any pleasure from food anymore. It's just, I just eat for fuel. And I just realized sitting here when you mentioned, well, maybe these guys want to eat. I realized, gee, I ate at breakfast this morning at like 5 a.m. I haven't had anything to eat all day.
I kind of forgot.
Like, I'm not hungry. So it's just so funny because food has become such a non sequitur in my life because I love doing everything else about living. And that's what Raymond and Bella always talk about, food freedom. And it took me a while to get that, Raymond, but I understand it now. I mean, it's great to not be a prisoner of thinking about food all the time.
It's just like changing out the batteries, isn't it?
Yeah.
Changing out the batteries. Okay.
I'm sorry, Dak, I interrupted you.
Oh, no, that's all right. No, I just wonder, just thinking if you've come from like a distorted eating behavior. For me, this was like, oh, finally I can eat. I mean, I starved myself for about 33 years and now I can eat. That made me really happy as well. So that part is not even about the food itself. I mean, I enjoy it very much, but doesn't make me happy. It's just allowing myself to eat, and that really made me very happy after struggling for so many years.
Yes. I want to hear from Lindy.
Yeah, no, well, I obviously ate for comfort. I had a lot of things going on in my life, and food was my comfort. It was there to try and fill that void that I had inside me, but it never worked. I was always had that void there, no matter how much I eat. So I was always searching for the next fill to try and make me happy. So I never got the happiness from eating the food, and I ended up, 800 pounds later. So Carnivore has given me that food freedom. I don't need food to give me that comfort anymore. I don't want to go into that spiral that I was in before. So it actually scares me to even think about, having the snacks and all that kind of stuff, because I know I'm addicted to that comfort feeling and trying to fix myself, but food is not the answer for me. So you have to be sort of careful with that kind of thought process as well. So I know food's a big trigger for me, and I eat to live, not for happiness.
Yeah.
Good.
Right.
You eat to live, not live to eat.
Yeah. Thank you.
You do live for happiness. Yes.
Everyone knows what I mean.
Right.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I just love hearing you guys talk about addiction and being free from food in general. We've all experienced it. Okay. And we all are on this carnivore experience with different time frames. I'm 6 years, Raymond's 8 years, Todd's 2 years, Adek, what are you, 5 years?
4.5 years, almost 5.
4.5. Dr. Phil, you're 2 years too, right?
6
1.5.
months. So I'm the baby here.
Amazing. And Lindy, 2 years? Just
3 years.
3
3
years.
years. Gosh, that was not long. Oh my
It's
goodness.
pretty advanced. Yeah, it's very inspiring learning from all of the friends here and also from you guys. So to wrap up tonight's live stream, I just really wanted to feature some of your comments on this question. I was reading it while everybody was talking, just feeling so many emotions. Karen is here.
Karen.
I'm happier now. Hi, Karen Miles. I'm happier now, but I did miss foods at the beginning. Totally normal. Once you get over that hump, you feel the food freedom. Feeling good from Ruby. Feeling good makes me happy. Carnivore makes me feel good. Love it.
Feeling good makes me happy.
Aw, Jesse, I absolutely love these Friday night lives. We do too. Yay. I look forward to them weekly. Dr. Phil too. Yes, we love Dr. Phil. We love interacting with you guys so much. Ask. No, but it's a process of seeing food as nutrition and not a source of happiness. Facts. Tina, it wasn't and isn't always easy, but I feel too good to go back to eating everything and anything.
Yes.
Right.
Alyssa is here. Hi,
Hey.
Missy. Carnivore got me off antidepressants and anxiety medications. Bravo. Totally has given me my life back. Yes. Congratulations. Sherry, Carnivore hasn't made me feel that much better. Okay. You see, we recognize that there are some people that just need a little bit more time, more vitamin P for patience. But you got this.
And more butter.
And more or bone marrow for her in her case.
Yes.
Okay. Bone marrow. That's right.
The Lawler family's here. I love that I don't think about food all day long anymore.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
That was a gift
True.
right
Not a
there.
single time do I think about food. After eating, it's over. And last one I'll feature from me, Terry. No, absolutely not. This is coming from a sugar addict. I don't even care for chocolate, and I love chocolate. That's powerful.
Wow.
You're addicted. Congratulations.
Yeah. You guys
This
ever
can happen
had
to
that?
everyone. Yeah, go ahead.
You guys ever had that point where you would just go on the internet and look at different foods and stuff?
I was when I was a vegan, yeah.
Well,
And when I was anorexic, I that was my food. Just looking at food. Yeah.
You want to hear something crazy?
Hungry
I
all the
used to love watching
yes.
people eat, called
You told
mukbang.
me.
It's a whole Korean content category where Koreans will sit in front of a table of just it's a feast, and they film themselves eating the food. And I would be so hungry all the time on a vegan diet that all I can do as a hobby is watch those videos.
Mhm.
Like how crazy from going from a life like that, my free time, I spend it like that, to now helping others heal on a carnivore diet. I'll take this life any day.
Yay.
And that's because carnivore.
Yeah.
So there's probably a whole community of people out there, Bella, that watch you eat
Yeah.
on Instagram.
That's true.
That's right.
That's how I found you, Bella. I mean,
Oh my gosh,
That's probably why they were looking for that.
You probably have Insta stalkers out there by the droves.
Isn't one of those Bruce Lee movies say that the students become the teacher?
yes.
oh my
That's funny. Wow.
I found a better way to use this content, this famous content, to create community. Yay.
Yeah.
Yes.
What does that mean, Tim? Why that's why Asians are short. What does that mean?
Because they don't eat. They don't have good quality
Because
nutrition.
Bella's not short.
Right. Bella is not short.
I'm actually 5'10", guys, if you
me.
don't know. Yeah. So when I go to meetups, for example, I met all of these people at Hack Your Health for the first time in person. And we got so close during that convention. And the first thing everybody would say to me is, oh my gosh, I can't believe how tall you are. I thought you were so small. I thought you were so short. But I'm 5'10". That's 178 centimeters. So for those who are international, that's pretty tall, right? For a woman.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm tall because I drank the most milk when I was a kid, and I ate the most meat when I was a kid. I'm the tallest. in my
There you
family.
go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for a wonderful, wonderful live stream. I love you all so much. I look forward to this every single week. Now, in addition to the NSV parties that we hold in the Steak and Butter Gang, those 2 hours in my weeks are my favorite. So if you guys are here in the live chat watching the playback, needing a little bit more support, if you fell in love with any of these amazing stories that I featured tonight, any of these friends, you can interact with them. You can connect with them. You can get the help that you need in the Steak and Butter Gang. And Todd, thank you for putting the banner up. That's the URL, sbgmeetup.com, or check out the links down below in the description box. Anything else, Todd? Did I miss anything else?
Just Hack Your Health. We're heading to Hack Your Health in November of 2025.
Right.
In the description of this video on all channels, the Hack Your Health link and a coupon code, capital letters, all capital letters, Carnivore gets you $100 off. Yep, and we'd love to see you down there. Other than that, we will see you in the Steak and Butter Gang or next Friday.
Yeah. Or next Friday. Bye, guys. Love you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.